some brands are telling to take 90 grams, 100 grams of carbs per hour. If you do a 10-hour race, that's 1 kilo of sugar. It's just crazy.
It's incredible honor and really privilege to have our guest today, Mr. Alvaro Madrazo, and he will tell us what you are doing here and what is a holy fat.
Oh, first of all, Badia, thank you for receiving me in Serbia. First time in Belgrade, so I love to be in the Balkans, and especially I love to meet great people like you and the athletes we've met. So
Thank you for the compliments that we are great. No, we are humble. Thank you.
And so I am here because I wanted to meet two of our Holy Fat ambassadors. So I'm the founder of Holy Fat. Holy Fat is a company that does sports nutrition, especially for the long distance. So all our products are mainly based off fats and very low sugar. This is especially good for the long distance. I created this company in France, and now I'm here. For me, it's a dream to be able to have a life and to meet with the athletes, and I'm passionate about sports. So
excellent. And you're saying fats, not sugar. You're saying opposite of everyone. Why fats and not a sugar at the top?
Okay, so first of all, we start from the basic facts. The basic facts, we have three sources of energy, which are the fats, the carbs or sugars, and the proteins. So this is the only three really sources of energy. And the sports nutrition in the market today, it's, let's say, 80% based in sugars, especially the gels is just simple sugars, complex sugars. And then we have some fashion with the proteins, especially now the fashion is to put protein from a vegetal origin, which we know is not the easiest to assimilate, but that's a fashion. And the fats we totally forgot.
So, or having just occasionally in products because they have to be there.
Yeah, and actually the products, they would say no fats as if it was good.
Yeah.
So when I started doing, so I used to do a lot of cycling before, and then I went to my professional life. And in 2018, I wanted to do a bike race, which is crossing France. Mm-hmm. And training for this race, I noticed that the products that were full of sugar, I was having a lot of problems to digest and a lot of problems with the glycemic variations. So I started to inform myself, okay, what's happening? And I said, but the fats are the best option for the long distance. First of all, you have more than double the calories by gram. So 1 gram of fat is 9 kilocalories compared to 4 for the sugars or for the proteins. So only in the ratio, it sounded interesting. So when I started doing some research and I started testing on myself, because I think that's the most important. The theory is one thing, but the most important is to test. And I saw that there is a lot of advantages, and I decided to create a company to promote this kind of foods for the long distance.
So it came from the idea and the knowledge, then testing, and then you got to the production in a way. So you're saying that this way opens up the real products and starting to involve the products that you have right now in a way.
Yeah, exactly. And what is very, very interesting is we start from a problem. So at the beginning, I was not looking for a solution, but I saw that the products that were in the market, they had a problem. If you see that in ultra trail, the main cause of not finishing a race is gastric problems, then you see something is wrong with what we're eating. And when you see the products that some brands are telling to take 90 grams, 100 grams of carbs per hour, if you do a 10-hour race, that's 1 kilo of sugar. It's just crazy.
So you have to take a package of sugar and put it in yourself during the half of a race, or not the part of the race.
Exactly. And
And if you want to do it with the fats, it's 100 grams.
yeah, it's 100 grams, and fats is very difficult to overeat. Your body
Yeah.
will tell stop.
Stop, yeah.
So you're gonna have a feeling of fullness, like you're satiated, and you're gonna be able to just concentrate on the running without I need to eat. I need to take every 40 minutes one gel because if not, I'm gonna have a hypoglycemic.
Yeah.
Or this is just not getting concentrated on the race. And the fats, they really allow to have a stable source of energy, be really calm on the mind, and be satiated.
So in your products, you're using a lard, the beef fat, or what? What you're using?
That would be very interesting. When I started to research, I was looking into the pemmican, into the
Saturated fats
here you
and-
use
yeah,
in the Balkans and like in Russia sala,
Yeah, yeah.
which I think it's a great food, but I wanted to have something that would be more open to everyone. So we went to nuts. We did tests with different nuts: pistachios, cashews, pecans, walnuts, hazelnuts, and macadamia. And we started with two different ranges. One it's made out of walnuts, and the other of macadamia nuts. So these were chosen for the kind of lipid, so the fats that they're using, which are faster and more easy digestible. And then
And absorbable.
yes, and then we have a special process that we grind them so thin that it's very liquid. So the first thing that the people, when they try the product, they tell us it's surprising or astonishing. It's something we're not used to because it's very liquid, but very you can feel the energy in the mouth. You say, wow, this is heavy.
Yeah. So you have a few types of products?
Yes, so we started with the nut butters. So these are presented in a 40 gram dosage.
Yeah.
And some people were telling us, the texture is difficult for us. So we did a bar that we use the chicory root to have the fiber. Main idea, no sugars, very low glycemic level. And it's a bar that in 50 grams you have 250 kilocalories. So we have
Really good.
yeah. So we have the nut butters, 6 flavors, the bar, 4 flavors, and then the people were asking, should I take this with an energy drink? I said no, but now you're putting the sugar in the water. So we created an electrolyte drink. It's not for energy, it's for hydration and to recover the minerals that we lose.
And to get the water to digest and resorb the fats out of the guts.
Exactly. So it's a complete range, but not so big. So drinks, bars, and nut butters.
But it's enough,
Yeah.
I think.
I think it's
full range for not just long distance races, but also for you can use it on a short distance and try to use it a little bit before.
Yes, you can. You said you need to try it. Well, as with any product before a race, what is ideal for our product? It's before training or before a race is the ideal product.
Yeah.
Because when you're gonna do a shorter race, it's, let's say a semi-marathon or a mountain bike race or a triathlon, you're gonna have breakfast really early in the morning, and then from there to the time you start the race, maybe it's 4 hours, 4 hours and a half. And the worst that you can do is to have a sugary bar or a sugar gel just before. That, because you're not yet on doing sport, like so you're in the rest. And if you take something very sugary, you're gonna start with hypoglycemia your event. So our product is perfect for this. Like to have it 30 minutes before a race, even if it's a short, intense race, is the perfect product. And then you can add, if you're used to having something like more carbs based, you can have it during the race or at the end of the race. But I think our product is the best product to have before a race, even if it's intense.
So the philosophy of the products is, in my personal opinion, really good, because the fats are the energy which is absorbed in a line, so you will not have this up with the sugar, down with the sugar, up in the sugar, down. So we were speaking, you told us that brain will in 1 second stop you when you lack the sugar. And the fats is like this, the straight line.
Exactly. And especially for long events, when you're going to do a race more than 4 hours, you're not going to be at 90% of your max. You're going to be at 60, 70. So you're going to be using mostly fats. So the idea is that, okay, you're using your fats in reserve, but sometimes you're hungry or sometimes you're used to eating something. So you need to have a product that corresponds to the energy that you're using. So that's when our product goes in. And as you say, it's a stable energy. No glycemic variations, so stable energy, and just developed for the long course.
So as I understood, the products are, let's say, vegan, and they are produced in Europe.
Yes. So we have, I'm a strong believer that if you want to innovate, you need to produce.
Yeah.
There is a lot of brands that say, we innovate and then we have a factory that does. No, the factory is the one that is innovating, because having an idea it's easy. How to transform the idea in reality. So how to do in clothing the patterns and how you're gonna do that. In food is, okay, I'm gonna use nuts, but nuts are very temperature sensible, so you need to have the right process. And so we decided to integrate the production. And we have this in the north of France, so very close to Belgium, in the north of France. So we are producing our own products, and we are shipping all over Europe.
So you have absolutely control about ingredients, production, developing, and final product to the buyer.
Yeah, exactly. So we identify our raw materials. We try to use the common sense, which is the closest possible with the best quality. So we have the walnuts are from France, the almonds are from Italy, and the macadamia nuts are from South Africa. So we receive everything. We do the roasting, the grinding, putting into pack, and then we prepare the packs to send to our customers. We do almost all our business direct to the customer. And for the countries that are outside of Europe, we are looking for distributors, so we can have a very good collaboration and to have the products in the most countries possible.
You convinced me. You convinced me with a simple knowledge and simple solution that it's really a right product. So, can you tell us some final philosophy of your brand?
Yes, for sure. Well, first, when we develop the products, I like to say we do basic principles. We don't go to the basic principles. Okay, how many calories, which are the macronutrients, as I said. And what I really like, what we do about our brand is holy fat. So the holy part is very, very important. All of our philosophy is based on traditional values. And we really like to tell to the people, be responsible. So in the company, I have two values, which is sacrifice and responsibility. So sacrifice is like every day, like life is brutal. So we need sometimes to do some sacrifice, but that's the way to be happy. It's not to look for the easy answer. And I really like this goes very good with against the sugar, because sugar is a quick satisfaction. There is no sacrifice on having sugar.
Yeah.
So we used to say, I like to say, holy fat, enjoy the sacrifice.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you very much. It was really a pleasure to have you in here.
Thank you, Valia, and thank you for receiving me in Serbia.